I might start the session so that we can at least get somewhere through it. Are you right with that, Joanne?
Yes, I'm fine, thanks.
Okay. I might just mute. Can you hear me now, Brian?
Hello.
Yes, hello?
Hi, it's Mary here.
Hi, Mary. How are you?
Thank you.
It's good. I've got callers in here. So one of these is me. I can't tell which one it is, so I can't mute everybody. So just be aware that I can hear the background noises.
I'll mute my phone now.
Thank you. If you can mute your own phones, that would be great.
How do you do that? Hit mute.
I don't know. Okay, so what I was going to show you here on the item card is basically where the pricing is set up. So I've set up an item called Xbox, and on the price and cost info tab, we have here what's called our default price. So the default price is the price that comes through on any item that you have set up in the system. For instance, if I go to a sales order, I have got no pricing, no structure or anything else. I've just got a default price set up. So from my sales orders, if I select a sales order that I've got set in here to show you from here, I've added this to this item, I've added Xbox to this customer's order, and the default price comes through just from the item. This customer does not have any price grouping or any discount grouping set on it. So if you're setting up systems whereby the price is just a base price, like a list price, you can actually set it on the system default prices. Alternatively, you can actually set up different items as well, part of the sales pricing, so you could have price lists as well. So if I go to sales prices, this is where my price lists are actually set up. And if I look at the base price list in here, and if I'm looking for that Xbox item, in my inventory codes, there is no base price configuration set up in here. So this is the pricing that's coming through is coming default off the item card. So going through from that stage there, where we want to set up some base price lists, we can set up what's called a group inventory item price. So we can actually group our items by their type so that we can set them for base sales and price calculations. So on the items system here, I've set up an item here called PlayStation, as well as the Xbox. I've set up 2 new prices. So we have PlayStation. And I've set up a price cost info here for PlayStation where my default price is $699, but I also have an item price class attached to that. So if I look here at the list, the item price list, I can actually drill down from here on the item card to see we have multiple item price lists. So that the items can be grouped by different pricing levels so that you've got a different category of item. This is different to your posting class. This is just purely for pricing. So if I look at this particular item now and I go to, once I've configured the price class here and I've got a base price, I can actually then go to my sales price list. And if I look at my base price, and if I put in here entertainment, this is my price class, my item price class. You can see here it's automatically configured my base price as $699, which is also my price, default price on the item. So there's 2 ways you can manage the price list, by a group or by the default price list. Going forward from that, from the item group pricing, we can actually then set up what we call customer price classes. So within the system, the customer price classes are set up very similar to what we classify as buying groups. So if I have a look here underneath my menus, I've got my customer price class, and I have different price classes set up here. Some of them are just groups for A, B, C, D, and others are buying groups 1, 2, and 3. So you can have as many price class groups as you need, depending on your business structure. If a customer is assigned to a buying group or to a price class, then that price class will be used for doing their pricing, depending on the item availability. If a customer is not assigned to the price group, but the item does have an item price class, it automatically is assigned the base price. So this is a little bit of a matrix coming together now. So for instance, if I go to my customers and I select my customer, this one here, AC Equipment. AC Equipment has got no price class defined. So on the delivery settings, under default location settings, the price class here is where you define the price class. So if I don't have a price class defined here and I want to do an order for the PlayStation, I can actually then, it will actually then just bring through what's called the base price. So if I go to my sales orders, and I look at this particular second sales order I have in the system called for AC Equipment, I've got my PlayStation and it's giving me my base price. If I go and have a look at my customer now for my customer for ABC Studios, you'll note in here ABC Studios has a price class set up on the delivery settings for price class A. In my sales prices, under price class, customer price classes, and my price class group A, if I put in here for the entertainment, you can see there my customer price class A for the PlayStation, the price on that is set to $600, not $699. So my actual price for this item is $600. When I generate a sales order for that particular customer, for ABC Studios, for the PlayStation here, you'll see my price will come through at $600. So there's quite a few different ways you can actually do price classes. So what I'll do is go through, I just want to go through how they are configured, the price class groups, so that you can actually see some of the different information. You can create price classes using promotional pricing as well. So through creating a price workbook or calculating prices. So if I have a look at my sales price list and I look at all prices, you'll notice in here in the system, it's showing me everything at the moment. I've got A, B, C, D, E, F pricing, and I've got base pricing and customer price classing. If I have a look at my price classes for customer price class for D, you can see here that there's quite a few items already attributed to price class D. So these items are actually specified on a particular customer. So if I have a look at the customers in the system for price class D, you'll see that there's an order, I've got an order in here. For customer Alphabet Land School, and they've got a PlayStation in here and their customer price class is $629. I wanted to set up in the system so that they have a promotional price for this particular item. So normally that item's under price class D. Is $600. Price class B, sorry. So it's normally $600 under A, and I've set what we call a promotional pricing here under price class B. To do that, I go through my price worksheet. And in my sales price worksheet, I've got here an item where I've actually added in the price class for price class B, and I've told it it's a promotional price. So I want to do a promotional price, which means I have to have an expiry date. So I have a start and finish date. I only wanted this to be effective for 1 day. My default price is $699, and I want to do it as a price of $629. So from that particular situation, when I look at my sales order for my price class on that particular item, note here my date. My date is the 16th of November, and my price here is $629. That's because it's picking up that actual promotional price. If I change my date here to 2 days before, you'll note the price changes back to $699 base price. Because that actual promotional price is only effective for 1 day, and it's based on the date of the order, not the requested on date. So if I change my date back here to the 16th, you'll note that it changes my price back to my promotional price. If I wanted to change a group of items, in the system to give them all promotional prices, I've actually configured up a price worksheet here whereby I've actually copied in from the price list. So if I go copy prices, I can create a price code from a particular group, so any group, and I've told it I want to put it in, the effective date's going to be this. It's going to be a promotional price because I've already told the header record it's going to be promotional. And I'm going to copy it to a particular price code. So I can copy from one price group. So I could want, if I wanted to, copy from B to D, two different price groups. Then I can create a promotional price for price group D, whereby it is based on price group B. So it gets a little bit more of a discount for a particular period. So in here, my source pricing is showing me what my price is. And I've done a calculate pending price. So I'm saying in my calculate pending price that my price adjustment is going to be 95% of the original price, of my base price, which I'm telling it is my source price. Okay, I'm going to have 0 decimals, so it's going to be whole dollars. And if I go update, the screen will update the information here. And so if I just rerun that again, so 95, it's already got a pending price. I'm just going to update that pending price. So my pending price now is $3, $67, $12, and so on. These prices do not come into effect until you actually release the product, release the price list. So I take this off hold. I've told it it's a promotional price list, so I'm just doing it for 1 day, and I go release. So once I've released that, if I go back to my price list, my sales price list, and I look at my customer price class for D, you'll see in here that it's got an expiry, the original price for the item, and then a price effective from and to. So within those 2 days, the price will be the new price. Then it will revert back to the old price because the old price has no expiry on it. So that's one of the ways that you can do a promotional. It also indicates here that this price is a promotional price. So when I raise my order for those products within that period, I will get the promotional rate. Moving forward from price lists, there's also a way we can have multiple unit pricing for items of units of measure and also add them to our customer price list. So looking at my customer price list, if I look at price code E, which I've got set up in here as one of my buying groups, I've actually got some items set up in here where there are multiple units of measure. And if I put in here my group of desktops, you can see down the bottom here on my screen, I've got my monitors, my LG monitor 20-inch. I've set it so that I can have a pallet buy and a piece buy. So these are setting up my prices with a pallet buy of $9,500 or an individual price of $197.60. If I look at my item, the one thing that you will need to have on your inventory setup is you will have to have a conversion for whatever pallet measure you want to have. So for instance, in this particular case, a pallet of monitors is set to 50 monitors per pallet. and my default pricing in here, my default price is 208, but my unit price, according to my price list, set for my price category of E is for $197.60. So you can start to see that there's quite a big matrix and configuration system going on here. I've also got my Samsung monitors, and additionally, I've got a desktop. From there, if I have a look at my sales orders, I've generated a sales order to invoice these out to a client. And on my sales order, it shows me here the Samsung monitors. I've bought one comes through at $216. Now that's because this customer is not part of the group E. So I click on my customer here and my delivery settings. This customer is part of group E for my Samsung monitors, and that price, if I go back to my price list, customer price list for and you can see from there we go. Oops. From the Samsung, customer price list group E is $216.13, and that's what the price for an individual item is on my sales order. But when I want to buy additional items, my pallet buy is $10,000. I sort these by price group. They'll come together. So here my pallet buy is $10,000. So on my order, my pallet buy is $10,000. The other item that I put on here is another pallet buy for the desktops, and you'll notice got a warning. So it tells you that my minimum gross profit requirement is not satisfied, which means that price that we have on the price list is affecting our minimum gross profit level on our inventory. So it's a warning for you in the system. So the multiple prices you can also have on those pricing. If I go to price class E, and set up my pricing so that I can view my desktops again. Notice there's also here what we call a break quantity. So you could also set up a break quantity so that if a customer buys 10, then the price could be a little bit different. So if I wanted to add that in here, I can just simply add a new line for my Samsung 21-inch by piece, and I can say, okay, if they buy 10, I can give them a price of $200 and save that. So then you now see that you've got a break price quantity as well as a pallet buy quantity and an individual price. From there, you can see they're starting to build a little bit more of a matrix and scenario. It all depends on your business and how you want to run the price groupings for your business. Moving on from the price classes, there's also another section in the system which is called discounts, item discounts. So item discounts can be applied to both customers and suppliers within the system. They're based on different scenarios, based on document types, and also what they're applicable to. So the document types actually represent, I'll just show you the screen, sorry. So the discount codes. So discount codes are configured up in a different section of the system, and you can have multiple types of discount codes. Again, it's a matter of what your business requirements are. Within the types, you have different discount types. You have groups, document, and line. So the group and line discounts are representative of items that are actually on the lines of the item, of the sales order. And so a line item is specific to one particular line. A group is associated to multiple groups of lines on the particular order. Document discount applies across the actual document. So it's the final level of the system, and it actually applies across a discount across the actual order. The applicable to section is where it becomes very interesting. There are multiple ways you can actually configure the applicable to for the discounts. You can set it based on an item, item price class, a customer, customer item price class, or customer price class. And if I click in the list here, you'll see that there are quite a number of configurable sections. What this represents is the fact that when we're looking at the discount structure, it gives us a list based on what screens we are going to be looking at. So for instance, if I have a look here at an item discount, and I pick the sequence, because each section, each one has a sequence associated to it, based on the different types. You can see here the breakpoint discount breakpoints, and also that it's only applicable to items. The discount by can either be by percentage or amount, and the break by can also be by percentage or quantity, amount or quantity, sorry. In this particular incident, it's set by percentage and amount. So my breakpoint here is my amount, and my discount percentage is listed here. If I have a look at another one, this one here, this one's actually set by percentage and quantity. So you can actually set it up by quantity points instead of quantity breaks instead of amount breaks. So that's what I'm talking about here on this screen here. So we're looking at breakpoints and break types for discounts. You might say that the discount structure and the sales structure are much the same, but the difference being is that when I actually set up my customer pricing, I can actually set up a discount on top of my customer price. So in this particular scenario here that I'm looking at, I've got a discount where the discount by amount and my break is by amount. So if, for instance, the discount's $50, my break amount is if the invoice, the line item is over $1,000 and it's set to a particular price class. If I'm looking at my discounts, my second one here, it's actually looking at amount again, but just based on a different price class. So you can have the same multiple price classes listed here. If they're different breakpoints or different break types, then you would need to set up different sequences to associate them. So there's different combinations of all of those that you can do. If I have a look, I've set up a particular order in the system here. So this particular order here is for this particular company. And I've set it up so that my pricing here is set with a discount percentage. It calculates the discount percentage. It's the discount amount, and it tells me what the discount code is. So I can click on here and identify the discount code, and the actual breakpoints and structure, etc., that are being associated. So this customer is part of my buying group F, and they get a discount based on price. So they're getting a discount amount of $250 because the order is over $2,000. I think probably got multiple discounts on there. So there's quite, as you can see from the scenarios that we've been looking at, there's quite a lot of configuration that goes into the setting up of this. But what I want to make sure for everybody is that you're aware that there is a big matrix behind it, and you need to be very clear on what you want. So you can have individual customers by price class. So you can have a customer. So if I have a look at my list here, AA. So these two particular customers have this discount price structure and these item classes. So if it's based on a particular item price class and the customers, then they get this breakpoint discount. You can also set up promotional discounts within here. So you can actually have just a promotional discount, which also has effective dates from and to. That information gives you just what the quantity breaks are. So if it's from 0 quantity to 5, it's a 3% discount. If it's 5 and over, it's a 5% discount. And it's based on specific items. So the combination within the system is quite large, depending on what your business requirements are. I think that probably just gives you a base overview. I know it's very, very quick to go through, but I can spend quite a lot of time going through all the different scenarios, etc. But I think the best thing is for you to do some testing for yourself in your system, or have a look at your business structures and see what's available to you. So everyone, so if you want to take your phones off mute now, if you wanted to ask some questions, by all means, go ahead and ask some questions.
Hi, this is Joanne.
Hi, Joanne.
I just have a question on the default pricing.
Yes.
Is there a way to change them without opening every single part? Like, is there a list type function or a recalculate function that you can use to change the default pricing?
Just the pricing in here on the items, you mean?
Yeah, that's set on the items. I'm trying to make a decision whether we use, like, put a default price in to start everyone off and then use the base price to recalculate, or do we just ignore the default price?
I would set up possibly in the system here, just when you upload the system, you can upload the default prices, or because it needs to pull the base price from somewhere. So this price here needs to be set as part of the implementation. So when you're setting an item up, you need to know, okay, what's my top price that I'm going to sell this for? Because everything else is basically a discount or a price structure underneath that. And then once you've done that, if you use the price class, the item price classes, it automatically generates the base price sales price in the system. So for instance, in here, if I attached what I did with my PlayStation, I put my default price in here and I attached it to a price class. By doing that, it automatically generates the base price class in the system. So if I have a look here at my price classes now, and if I look at just all prices, for entertainment, you can see here, there's my base price, which is my $6.99. There's my price class for price A, and then there's my promotional price. So if I wanted to change my base price, I could change it just simply by using this business here. So in here, I can change it and take that out. Shows me all my items with their base prices because they are actually linked to a particular price class. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So
from there, you can actually create a price worksheet.
Yep.
And that can then do as an update. So see here, it tells me I'm in my sales price worksheet now, and it is my base price. And I want to update my base price to give it a 10% increase.
Yep. Does it then update the default price against that part or not?
Let's have a look. Let's go here. Price. Let's go to my item. I'll just select that one item. Play. And play. So that's my PlayStation. If I calculate my pending price here to 120%, and it means 0, based on my source price. Now my source price is my base price, and I go update. Calculate, and then price.
You did it. I didn't know.
Sorry?
I did do it.
It did?
Yeah.
We just, there it is, $839. I can save that.
Release it.
Go actions, or just release. Thinking. I can then go to my item card. And no, it's still held my old price, but my new base price is the new rate.
That might be confusing though.
Yes.
Because that price would never come up anywhere anymore, would it?
The default price would only come up. It will only come up if a customer isn't, if there's no price class here. And it would come up also as part of your configuration, so your source. So we'll always use that price.
So is there, so there's not a way to update that default price?
No. Not without doing an import scenario.
Okay.
So that's basically, yeah. So if I go back here and I look for so my base price now is the $839.
Yeah, but I guess it's inconsistent data because if somebody opens up PlayStation, they'll see $6.99 there.
That's correct. They will.
Yeah, which is not the price that's going to show up.
Normally, yeah. Normally you wouldn't use you wouldn't update the base price that way, but it doesn't flow through back into the inventory update. Any other questions? No?
Glenda, that GP warning,
Yes.
is that based upon the GP on the item?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Which is?
It's in here. So it's based on the min-max information set here.
Okay.
I think it actually looks at the costing as well, because it tells you that
work out the GP, yeah.
Yeah, it works out the GP behind the scenes and tells you that the price is, you know, you're going to sell this below your price. Does anybody else have any questions? So a lot of companies use bulk buys from suppliers. A lot of companies use bulk buys to their customers as well. So do you use discounts or do you use sales price discounts, sales price breaks? They're the questions that you sort of need to be aware of when you're configuring up these things, because you can actually double up if you're not careful. You need to decide, am I doing my break pricing on my discount side of things? So if they buy in bulk, do I give them a discount, or do I sell them a break price if they're buying in bulk? So you just need to be aware that both sides of the story can actually give it a double effect of pricing. So it's like setting up a big matrix in the system. Does anybody have any other questions? How many people do we have? No? No more questions?
There's 5 of us. Yeah, all good.
All good?
All good.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you all very much. I hope it was all very helpful. I have recorded the session. So we'll be putting that up on our website once we've checked the quality of it and make sure it's all okay. Thank you all very much. If you do come up with any questions after the session, please don't hesitate to send through an email to either myself or Brian or the support team so that we can assist you in any way we can. Thank you.
Thanks, Linda.
Thank you.
Thanks, Fernando. Hey, BJ, you still there?